The following presentation of this Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week is brought to you in part by a generous donation from the Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites, South Bay. The Holiday Inn Express is partnering with Channel 22 Sports to help promote our young people in sports competition and academics so that everyone in our community wins. The Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites. Stay smart. The following presentation of this Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week is brought to you in part by a generous donation from the South Bay Workforce Investment Board. The South Bay Workforce Investment Board is working together with Channel 22 Sports to promote an environment where everyone can maximize their career potential and so that all employers have the human resources they need to grow and prosper. The South Bay Workforce Investment Board. When you need us, we're there for you. The following presentation of the Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week is brought to you in part by a generous donation from Ralph's Food for Less, the nation's premier price impact supermarket chain. Food for Less is proud to be working with the community to enhance the lives of everyone by providing a diverse selection of products and customer service and by reaching out to support the communities in which we serve.
Good evening, fans, and welcome to another exciting Channel 22 sports presentation. I'm Rufus Washington, joined by Mark Helmer. We're at Leuzinger High School for the first round of the CIF Division I AA basketball playoff as the Olympians, Mark, tonight play host to a very new Murrieta Bronco basketball team. You're about to say football. As soon as you say Broncos, you think football.
Well,
basketball team.
They're new in everything. This is only their third year of existence and their second year with a varsity team. They made the playoffs a year ago, went out in the early going. Same thing here. They've only won 4 of the last 10 games they've played, and they had to beat Montclair in a wild card game by 4 points on Wednesday night to get into this one. But when they win, I've noticed, Rufus, they tend to win big. They got 4 or 5 games where they've won by 25 or more points.
That's going to be very impressive. Leuzinger, of course, not new at all to playing championship basketball. Of course, they're a number 4 seed in Division I AA. Big things expected of this program. They're coming in, though, with a bit of a handicap. As Coach Morris told us in the pregame, Duke Moore is out due to some academic problems that he's got to pay attention to that. And, of course, when we talk scholar athlete, that's not surprising.
That's the way it works at this level and at the next one. You got to hit the floor, but you also got to hit the books, and it's a tough thing. It hurts in the playoffs, but down the road it may help him.
Well, they'll certainly need to make the adjustment. The Olympians, of course, coming in with a 23-3 overall record. They have been consistent. You know, just like you, I sat down in my pregame stuff trying to figure out what was their winning trends. They have won all season. One of those 3 losses, I might add, was a forfeit of a game where they were given the wrong time to appear. So we'll see tonight how well this very young Bronco team stacks up against the experience and the home court advantage that the Olympians will enjoy.
I thought with Leuzinger's history that they might try to slow the game down, but Kurt Ruth, the coach for Vista Murrieta, says no, we're going to try up-tempo. So this one could be a track meet.
Well, as both coaches said also to us, it's not only a track meet, it's a game of adjustments and a lot of in-game adjustments because, again, in the playoffs, you don't know a lot about your opponent. You're seeing them sometimes for the first time. And as Reggie said, they're just going to play their game, do what they do, and they'll make the adjustments as they go along.
Well, I remember a coach back when you and I were young and good-looking named John Wooden, and he never would scout anybody. It's like, if we play our game, it won't matter what the other guy's doing.
You're exactly right. Let's set the starting lineup so the fans start, and with the visitors, the Broncos of Vista Murrieta High School. They start number 3, Adrian Dixon. 11 is Andy Hall. 21 is Carlos Palmerin. 22 is Mohammed Kadir. And 32 is John J.D. Stiles, who's their key performer. And Leuzinger controls the opening tip, and just like that, Russell Westbrook attacks the basket, doesn't get it to drop. We'll give you that Leuzinger lineup in just a moment. Shot put up and in by Carlos Palmerin. Palmerin averaging 10 points a game. Donnell Beverly, of course, in the backcourt, bringing it up. That shot put up doesn't go by Gary Quarker. Quarker being the person having to step up in place of Duke Moore, who won't make an appearance in this playoff run. That shot put up and in by Carlos Palmerin. So quick 4-0 lead. Out on the break, and a travel call. Our officials for tonight's contest. The officials are Frank Obregon, who made that call, and Frank's the referee, and Don Fleming is the umpire. I know both guys. They're out of the Long Beach unit. In fact, they're my mentors when I work in the stripes. So what have you seen early, Mark, in terms of Leuzinger seeming to have a little trouble getting on track as the number 4 seed?
A little bit of pregame jitters, but I think it's safe to say so much for a slowdown game.
Right.
One thing for sure, Vista Murrieta has come to run. That's for blatantly obvious.
That rebound taken down by Donnell Beverly. Looking to run, gets it knocked away, recovers it though. Gets it down low to big number 12, that's Deshaun Freeman. And Freeman stays with it to put the shot up and in, and Leuzinger gets on the board at the 6:30 mark. Coming back right away, though, is Adrian Dixon. So far, this wild card team, Vista Murrieta, certainly not showing any fear of this number 4 seed Leuzinger Olympian team.
Actually, they're a taller team than Leuzinger. They got 4 front men that are 6'5" or higher.
That shot put up and in by Christian Streebling. Steal by Westbrook. Loses the handle on it. Recovered by Vista Murrieta. Shot from the perimeter put up, doesn't go, but Leuzinger's all everything. Westbrook pulls it down, puts it up on the pass from Deshaun Freeman over to Gary Corker.
In a game like this, it might be interesting just to see who runs out of gas first.
It certainly will be. One thing we know about the Olympians, having seen them obviously throughout the course of the season, is that they play 32 minutes of game just like this as they bring a substitute on the floor. Miles Allen comes on for Gary Qualker. Travel call out top. That call goes against Adrian Dixon. Donnell Beverly and Russell Westbrook operating in the backcourt. Westbrook attacks the basket, puts it up, can't get it to go, and they're going to get Deshaun Freeman for going over the top. Deshaun Freeman, certainly an interesting human interest story, Mark. Deshaun Freeman had a lot of growing pains and set out for quite a few games and decided he wanted to play through it, and he's out here tonight contributing.
So far, it doesn't look like anybody is, slowed by anything. They're going flat out from the opening buzzer.
That shot put up and in by J.D. Skiles. Styles, as we mentioned, averaging over 10 points a game and nearly 10 rebounds a game. And now we got wholesale substitutions coming on for Vista Murrieta. Looks like the pace may have gotten the better of them a little bit early.
You know, that could be a very good move on their part of keeping everybody fresh and letting them rest early.
And a turnover by the Olympians. Wow, Russell Westbrook goes up to block the shot. Our score 8-6 in favor of the visiting Broncos. Wow. Official Don Fleming calls the block there against the Vista Murrieta defender. Coach Roof there taking a long, hard look at him. He's thinking, man, I'm not sure what you saw, but Don Fleming very emphatic that the defender had not established possession.
Justin Atterbury charged with that foul.
Ball out top to Beverly now. Leuzinger again looking to do what they do, that swing the ball around. Obviously look for Westbrook, 5 count, in effect, gets it away. Zone defense being employed right now by the Broncos. Their coach said they would mix it up between man and zone, and Beverly gets inside the zone but can't convert.
They started with man-to-man, and I don't know why they switched out of it, but they have. Whoa.
Good steal by Ralph Horton. However, due to slippiness on the floor, and before the game started, as we saw the teams preparing, there was a lot of mop-up work being done on the floor. We're not sure whether there was a leak or whatever, but
yeah, it was slippery an hour ago when they came out for the shoot-around.
Another steal by the Olympian defense. And right now, everybody having a bit of a problem with their footing on this floor. Good inside rebound by Ralph Horton. A score now 8-8 with 3:13 left in the first. Three-pointer put up and in by number 12. That's Ken Zane, one of the substitutes that just came on the floor. Donnell Beverly still can't get his shot to go. Ralph Horton is going to be called for the pushing over the top foul.
I'm sorry, Rufus, who did he say called the foul on?
He called it on Ralph Horton, number 23. I believe, yeah, the scoreboard now shows it. Our view, of course, as you noted earlier, obstructed. But I believe it was Ralph Horton.
In the middle of all that, we didn't get to mention that Vista Murrieta put their 5 starters back on the floor, so.
Well, it was enough to give them a breather, and now we see Coach Reggie Morris and the Leuzinger Olympians call timeout on Hawthorne Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, with the Olympians trailing by a score of 11-8. So, Mark, your early observations here of the action so far.
You know, I think the thing I would say, if to sum it up in one word, is surprise. You have Vista Murrieta, only their second year in the playoffs. Many of these guys, it's the first senior class. You hear these nightmare stories about how good Leuzinger is, and you show up, and they're completely unfazed. It's like, we don't care whether you're the home team or how loud it is in here. We're going to give you a dose of your own medicine, and so far they have.
They certainly have. Still in the early going, though, and of course the Olympians, as we mentioned, having to make the adjustment. 5-second count there goes against the Olympians. That was Demetrius Juice Deason with the ball, who couldn't get it away.
Well, turnovers is one of the things that'll kill you, and that's something that Leuzinger's going to have to stay away from.
Three-pointer doesn't go, knocked away by the Olympians off the board. However, recovered by Vista Murrieta. And that's another three from distance. That one put up by Riley Fletcher. Right now, the Olympians back it out. It's in the hand of Donnell Beverly. Beverly's taken a lot of shots so far. They're still looking to get Russell Westbrook untracked. Of course, Leuzinger's own Division I prospect. And it goes. Let's see if they call it. They scored a basket for Donnell Beverly. Blocking called on the play. And it's going to send Beverly to the line for the old-fashioned three-point play.
Another substitute coming in for the Olympians.
That's Deshaun Freeman coming back in for Ralph Horton. And over on the sideline, Coach Reggie Morris giving Horton some instruction. Horton's a key guy that they're going to need tonight. You can rest assured you will see him often. Donnell Beverly converts the three-point opportunity to reduce the deficit now to 3 points at 14-11 with 1:44 left. And a wise timeout taken by Andy Hall. Andy Hall was pressed up against the sideline, so he had nowhere to go but out of bounds. Signal for the timeout.
Well, I've noticed that even the Bronco fans have traveled well. There are a lot of people that came in here from the Inland Empire, and they're fully backing the Bronco squad. They play in the Southwestern League, for those that don't know. There's actually two schools sharing the name Murrieta, and they fight over who has title to it. Vista Murrieta, these folks that finished fourth, and then the other squad is Murrieta Valley, and they finished dead last.
Well, this Vista Murrieta team, I can say already in the first 6 minutes or so of this contest, has obviously been quite impressive as they've come here on the road with the long road trip and have shown themselves not to be afraid at all.
Well, like you said, well, there's a good
Russell Westbrook. Russell. Not quite sure what he was doing on that. Russell comes up limping, and boy, if he's pulled a cramp, that's going to be problems for the Olympians. He's trying to run it off, but they're going to need to get a sub in for him.
Well, before the game, the coach for Vista Murrieta, Kurt Ruth, told us that they made a point during the preseason and tournament play to play good teams. And one of the advantages when you really don't know your opponent that well is in the early going like this, you can send a message.
You absolutely can. One thing about this Leuzinger team, they also have played a number of good teams over the course of the last couple of seasons under head coach Reggie Morris. And I can guarantee you no fear is a part of their lexicon. Right now they're a bit surprised, however, by the goings-ons as that loose ball will favor the Olympians.
Well, on paper, they've only lost 3 games, and technically they've only lost 2, so they're doing something right.
As Justin Atterbury, number 42, 6'5", senior, comes on for Felix Perkins, a 6'7" junior. And as you noted earlier, Mark, this team does have a lot of height. Another turnover by the Olympians. Under a minute left here in the first quarter. A 14-11 game. And foul goes against Donnell Beverly. The official, Don Fleming, didn't have much of a choice but to call that when there was contact by Beverly, which drove the Murrieta ball handler out of bounds. And of course, that was Muhammad Kadir, a 6', 185-pound senior. Dixon comes back on. He was a starter, replaces Tony Cook. Dixon a junior, Cook a junior as well. So the Leuzinger pressure defense yields a turnover with 36.5 seconds left here in the first quarter. The Olympians trailing by 3 at 14-11.
I wondered how long it would take them to go to that, and that might be something they want to stay with now because this Bronco team is really quick.
Russell Westbrook shoots an air ball, quite frankly. Rebound taken down by Vista Murrieta. They've had 2 3-pointers so far here in the first quarter.
They've gone to a 2-3 zone.
That's another 3-pointer put up and in by Ken Zane. 3 3-pointers here in the first quarter for Vista Murrieta, and their biggest lead at 17-11. Westbrook still not on track. A very, very uncharacteristic light first quarter for the Leuzinger Olympians as they head to their bench, trailing by a margin of 17-11, courtesy of 3 first quarter 3-pointers by this Bronco basketball team.
Reggie Morris doesn't have gray hair yet, but if this keeps up, he'll get it in a hurry.
Absolutely.
You can see the lines on his forehead, the brow there. He's not happy with what's going on at the moment. But Vista Murrieta, they came to play. 3-pointers. Leuzinger only trying 1. That may be something they'll have to rely on, and if they do later on, that's one of the other great things about Russell Westbrook. Of all the field goals he's scored throughout the season, almost 25% of all of his scoring has been from beyond the 3-point line. Now, he hasn't had to use that weapon yet, but if this keeps up, he may have to change.
He may have to, and Russell is one of those type of guys, once he gets on track, and clearly has not yet gotten on track, but once he gets on track, man, he can dump a bunch of points in very quick time. Had the one awkward basket where he was down here on a wide open layup, attempted to go up and actually came up limping on the play, stayed in the game though, and now the Olympians will be tasked with overcoming.
Now maybe they'll both relax.
Yeah. Leuzinger now packing it inside a traveling call underneath against Vista Murrieta.
I thought he stepped on the baseline there for a moment, but Don Fleming says no, he walked.
Demetrius Deason now in the backcourt. That sends Donnell Beverly to a post possession. Westbrook still not untracked yet. Westbrook brings it out, passes it over to Miles Allen. His shot doesn't go. And we got a push off on the play. Let's see who this is going to go against. Either player is going to be their second foul, and it goes against Ralph Horton. And that's foul number 2 against Ralph.
And 5 team fouls, that's not going to help either.
And an easy layup put up and in by the Broncos.
Looks like the Olympians would like to start using the full court press, but the Broncos are so fast they're hardly having a chance to do it.
And they finally get an inside basket. That one scored by Christian Stribling. Makes our score now 19-13. The largest lead of the game at 8 was 19-11, or thus far has been 8 points. Broncos pass it into the backcourt. Now they bring it back to the front, operating on the perimeter. They are looking for that 3-point shot. Even with the size they have, they don't go inside much. They go inside that time and come up empty. Donnell Beverly pushing it up the court. Gets it inside to Juice Deason, who draws a foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
And here comes some more substitutions for the Broncos. Going to bring Carlos Palmerin back in after this shot.
Well, it looks like Coach Kurt Roof's strategy is not to let his team get worn down by this defense of Leuzinger, which over the course of the season has worn down many a player. I don't know if we can get a shot over on the sideline of Deshaun Freeman. I talked earlier about Deshaun. He's over on the bicycle on the down at the far end of the Leuzinger bench, and the fact that he does have knee problems purely attributed to growing pains.
Well, this may not be the game to try to bring him in if his knee's hurting, because they are going full speed here.
So Deason gets 1 out of 2. He's on the line to make it a 19-14 game. Official not in position to see the fact that the Bronco player on our side here is actually out of bounds. Another steal by the Olympians. Russell Westbrook with it.
Things work from the outside for the Broncos, but now they're trying to go in, and they've been stopped twice.
Leuzinger now seemingly getting on track. They're back within 3 after having trailed by as much as 8. Here's another steal for the Olympian defense. Foul has to be called there. They call it on the ground, so it'll be Olympian ball out of bounds. So the pace is picked up, Mark. We knew that would happen. Boy, it took a quarter and some change for the Olympians to start to get going, but now it looks like the trains have left the station.
Yeah, and that's 3 unproductive trips down the floor now for the Broncos, so that's not something they want to have. You were talking about them trying to go inside. That may not be the way to do it.
Westbrook gets inside. Westbrook puts it up, still short on it. Russell not yet untracked offensively. Nearly a 4th consecutive turnover forced by the Olympians. They come down with the missed shot, though. Donnell Beverly now in the middle of the floor dishes it off to Miles Allen. His shot doesn't go, but the tip put up and in by Gary Corker. Murrieta responds very quickly on the basket by Riley Fletcher.
They are not rolling over, that's for sure. Nearly a backcourt violation there.
So our score now 21-18. Still in favor.
Seems like the Olympians are a little surprised they're getting this kind of a game. Maybe they expected Murrieta to fall down for him, and it's not happening.
Donnell Beverly's shot, boy, Donnell really has had an off night thus far. I think he's only converted 1 attempt so far, and he's had several. Another fast break opportunity for the Olympians. Beverly's shot doesn't go again. Think Donnell's got to look to do some other things. He's certainly trying to pick up the scoring slack, but thus far, not having a lot of success here in the first half. No. Foul's going to be called against Beverly, and it's going to send the Broncos to the line to shoot 2. That's going to be Justin Atterbury shooting the 2 free throws. And that's 2 fouls also against Donnell Beverly, who tonight is wearing, well, that's his regular jersey, number 2. More substitutes now coming on. We've got 4 minutes left here in the first half in a contest that Murrieta has led the entire first half. And now they extend the lead to 23-18 as they go on a 4-0 spurt.
Now that was their first visit to the free throw line, and we're 4 minutes away from halftime. So that sense, it's the first shooting free throws that Vista had, but.
And of course, Leuzinger has 16 fouls, so they'll also be shooting a 1-and-1 on each foul from here on out. Travel call against the Olympians. One of the things I see here in the early going, Donnell Beverly, who's taking a lot of shots, hasn't gotten anything to go yet, is going to need to look to do something differently. Leuzinger now picking up full court pressure.
Well, I remember reading some earlier notes from Coach Morris, and he said if we're going to win, Beverly's got to score because you can't expect Russell Westbrook to do it all by himself.
It looks like they called an illegal screen against Ken Zane. So with 3:27 left, Leuzinger now making a substitute of their own as they bring on for the first time tonight, I believe, Kevin White. Westbrook with the shot. Westbrook kisses off the glass, one of his favorite shots. Westbrook also not being able to get on track. So for the Olympians to be within 5, and considering you're not having much luck from 2 of their big shooters, that's Westbrook and Beverly, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they're really, I would not say playing their A game right now, and they're still in it, but they're in a certain sense lucky because this could get away from them very easily.
It's going to be a game of adjustments at halftime, that's for sure. Certainly for the Olympians, at least, I would suspect that the Broncos are going to be content thus far with what they've been able to accomplish. They get it out top to Westbrook. Westbrook penetrates. Westbrook goes up and draws the foul. Coach Ruth has a couple of words for the official. Thought Westbrook initiated most of the action.
I was trying to hear what the PA announcer was saying about who that foul was on. And they're not showing that number on the scoreboard.
Also let the fans know, I'm not sure when we'll be able to get a camera shot, but Leuzinger Olympian, 2 Leuzinger Olympians of yesteryear, one with the Miami Heat, Darrell Wright, who plays for the Heat, sitting over to your right, 2 players over with the hat on. Played here at the Olympians 3 years ago when they had that fantastic run in the playoffs and nearly made it to the championship game, made it to the semifinals. Wow, the Olympians miss a pair. Having a real tough time getting going. Also here tonight is Donnell Wright, another Olympian. In fact, he and Darrell comprised the front line for the Olympians back in 2003. And I know Coach Morris wishes he could suit up both of those guys. However, they've used up all of their eligibility.
Right now, he might be able to use it. Right. Things are not going exactly according to plan.
Broncos to inbound underneath their own basket. They lead by a score 23-18. We've got about 2:15 left here in the first half. Wow, skying to take down that rebound was Gary Quirker. Westbrook spins into the paint. Still can't get it to go. Boy, this is as tough a half as I've seen of Westbrook. And drawing the foul is number 21, Kevin White. So the Olympians still giving it their all on defense, and quite frankly, Mark, it's their defense which has them down by only 5 at this point. But for the defense, this would be almost a runaway at this point.
It could be, very well. And the other thing, they're not, I don't have the number right in front of me as I say this, but it's obvious that offensive rebounds is not something that's going the Olympians' way either. Every time they take a shot, if it's not going in, Vista seems to be coming up with the ball.
Tap put up and in by Gary Quirker. That time getting inside position was Carlos Palmerin. So it's still a 5-point game. Our score now 25-20 with 1:26 left here in the first half. It's been an uphill climb all night for the Olympians so far in this contest. And the Olympians have been successful as we look up at the board, not having paid attention. Last time we looked, the Olympians had the 6 fouls, and the Broncos only had like 3 or 4. All of a sudden, they now have 19 fouls, and the Olympians are shooting a 1-and-1.
We got the front side of it, and frankly, they could use all the free throws they could get right now.
Deshaun Freeman still over on the far sideline as Donnell Beverly converts both free throws. Deshaun Freeman has yet to make an appearance after having gone out in the first quarter. Wow. Blocking call is going to go against the Olympians. That's going to go against Corker. You're going to score the basket and send Dixon to the line for a three-point opportunity.
I thought that was going to be a charging foul there myself. He looked like he was planted. I don't know about that one.
Well, the official gives it the other way, and so Dixon extends the lead back out to 6 points at 28-22. And Westbrook hits his first 3 of the game to make it a 28-25 game with 1:05 left here. And that could be a sign of good things to come for the Olympians, with Westbrook getting untrapped because he has had a difficult first half.
A couple of adjustments at halftime and the Olympians could be okay. The thing I'm a little surprised by, and maybe that's something that the Broncos will change back to, when they did the outside game, they did the perimeter shooting, they got the three-pointers, they were okay. Now they're trying to go inside, and they can drive to the bucket, but they're not making it, and that's what's, in essence, helped Leuzinger get back in the ballgame.
Well, I think one of the things, perhaps, Mark, that the Leuzinger defense has done, first of all, we've seen them recover very quickly, and that is that they've taken away the three-point opportunity from the Broncos. And, of course, Leuzinger right now is on a 14-11 run. It was actually 19-11 at one point, so we call it a 14-9 run here.
They've been close throughout it. It was just they needed a little bit of a break, and that three-pointer may be what puts them over the top.
Well, we know that Russell Westbrook is one of the best pure shooters here in the South Bay. Leuzinger showing a zone defense now. They'll pick it up in the half court. Under a minute left. And we'll see how they defend that three-point line, the point that you were making earlier, Mark.
And they've gone back to the zone.
Wow. Big offensive rebound for the Broncos. Keeps the possession alive. Gives them another opportunity for the three-pointer. Leuzinger comes away with it. They don't have numbers, but they are attacking the basket. And went off of a Vista Murrieta player. They didn't have the numbers on the fast break, although it looked like they were going to try to force a break on that play.
That zone defense really seems to have shaken up Vista Murrieta.
They give them a fresh 35. I think it would be actually 30. The shot clock is off. There are 23 left on the game clock, so the Olympians can hold for the last possession, but they turn it over instead. Wow. A huge turnover there.
That was your chance to tie it right there, and they let it slip away.
Three-pointer from the outside, no good. Wow, no shot call, no foul call there. And boy, Coach Kurt Ruth sprints off the court with his Murrieta team. I'm not sure I've ever seen a team lead that way, but he left. Looks like he was content to take his winnings. That's one of those end-of-the-game sprints that you make, that you say, hey, I'm getting out of here before anybody changes their mind. And I think he decided he wanted to make sure no one changed their mind on the halftime score, which is 30-25 in favor of the visiting Broncos of Vista Murrieta. So, we will take a break here on Hawthorne Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 for just a moment, and we'll come back at the top of the second half with the first half recap, among other things, and some other insights from Mark Elmer. I'm Rufus Washington, and you're watching Hawthorne Lawndale's Community Cable, Channel 22. Okay, fans, welcome back to the second half of tonight's CIF Division I AA playoff. We'll start the third quarter in just a moment. I'm Rufus Washington. I want to go to my partner, Mark Helmer. Mark, your first half observations.
I think the first thing I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Rufus, was probably either nerves or a little bit of surprise by Leuzinger. I don't know that they expected Murrieta to give them a ball game like that started off. Now, the Broncos were very good in the early going with three-point shooting, and both sides had some nerves. We saw some turnovers, some traveling, things like that. But we started to see things change a little bit when the Broncos tried to play an inside game, and it really didn't work. That may be because, as you mentioned, just when we got in the latter part of the second quarter, perhaps, depending upon your perception of the game, that the Olympians took that three-point game away from them. On a couple of occasions, they went to a 2-3 zone, and strangely enough, that seemed to just completely throw the Broncos off track, and it got close there at the end. The one area of concern, if you're an Olympian fan, is fouls. That could be a problem when we get into the second half. It looks like so far, for the visitors, Dixon with 7 points, Zane with 2 3-pointers, Palmer with 6, Kadir and Fleeman with 2, and Atterbury with 2, both from the free throw line. We'll give you the Leuzinger numbers in a minute.
All right, second half action underway, and an early foul call goes against, number 22. That's Kadir.
Nobody really setting the world on fire for Leuzinger in the first half. Westbrook only has 3 points and Beverly only with 5. Corker was actually the leading scorer with 6.
Deshaun Freeman back on the court. They're trying to get Deshaun on track. He didn't play at all here in the second quarter, trying to get his knees stretched out.
Christian Streebling had 4 points in the first half and Freeman with 2.
Russell Westbrook, of course, had the big three-pointer late in the second quarter. That shot doesn't go. And it's going to be an over and back as Adrian Dixon had possession of the ball. It wasn't loose. He actually had a live dribble and went in the backcourt, so they called backcourt violation. Nearly a minute gone by, no score yet here in the third quarter.
Turnovers may be the number to watch in the second half.
Wow. Donnell Beverly still can't get it to go. Travel call underneath against Russell Westbrook.
And of course, in the first half, the Olympians had a problem. Offensive rebounding was almost non-existent.
This time they set up in their half-court defense. They're showing a zone, a 2-3 zone is what they show here in the early going. Skip pass across the court, sets up a three-point attempt. That's short, and it goes to the Olympians. That shot put up by Andy Hall. Almost a minute and a half gone by and still no score here in the third quarter.
Vista back at a man-to-man. That seemed to work well for them in the early part of the game.
Donnell Beverly telling his players to come out to get the ball. They now get it in the hands of Russell Westbrook. Westbrook from the side, kisses it off the glass, gets it to go for a deuce. Pulls Leuzinger within 3 at 30-27. Again, the Olympians, I don't believe have ever led in this game, and if they did lead, it was only momentarily. Westbrook attacks the basket, can't get it to go, but the follow shot put up and in by Stribling. And an out-of-bounds play goes against the Broncos. Yet another turnover. Leuzinger now down by only one at 30-29.
Right at the moment, the Broncos look a little rattled here. It'll be interesting to see if the momentum shifts now. Westbrook looks like he wants to put the team on his back and carry him.
Well, he's going to need to if that's going to happen. That shot put up from the corner by Stribling doesn't go, but Ralph Horton keeps it alive. Gets it over to Gary Corker. Ball comes loose. Corker trying to do too much with it. They slow down the break. Three-pointer put up. Doesn't go. Donnell Beverly with the rebound. Right now we're going playing coast-to-coast basketball. Donnell Beverly's pass underneath goes to Gary Corker. And the Olympians have their first lead of the game at 31-30, but it's short-lived.
It's the first time they've led in the whole game.
And it only lasted about 2 seconds as Riley Fletcher hit a three for Vista Murrieta to make it 33-31. We'll note that the Olympians led at 31-30, and boy, in about 2 seconds, that lead was gone.
And that's the first three-pointer that's gone for the Broncos in the second half, because they were cold in the first couple of shots.
Stribling with the shot underneath ties it up at 33. We'll see now if the Leuzinger defense can step up and get a hole here and give them an opportunity. Wow, boy, forcing his way to the basket was John J.D. Styles, the 6'6", 200-pound senior. Styles draws the foul. He's going to go to the line to shoot two. Styles missing the front end of the 1-and-1. A score tied with 4:34 left in the third. Styles missed a pair. Beverly attacks the basket. Beverly puts it up. Donnell Beverly can't get it to go. Still a cold shooting night for Donnell Beverly.
Both teams have not set the world on fire with shooting in the second half.
Styles operates down on the baseline. Looks like he did a little bunny hop, got away with it though, and gives the Broncos the lead again at 35-33. Again, we should mention, fans, because it's Ralph Horton skies up, doesn't get it to go, but he's fouled on the attempt, and he's going to go to the line to shoot two. We have to note the fact that, again, as we mentioned before, Duke Moore not available for tonight's contest, as is Dadrion Morgan. Morgan not missed nearly as much as Duke Moore is. And Horton converts the first. Free throws being ever so big right now. These are all shooting fouls, as there are only 3 team fouls for the Broncos and 1 team foul for the Olympians. Ralph Horton converts a pair to make it a 35-all contest, and that'll bring back
Third time we've been tied now.
That'll bring back on the floor Deshaun Freeman. Wow, three-pointer put up and in by Riley Fletcher. So this Vista Murrieta team, we saw them hit a couple, they've hit 2 three-pointers here in the third quarter. Shot put up and in by the Olympians. Looked like that was Stribling down on the baseline.
The outside shooting and the man-to-man defense worked for the Broncos in the first half, and that looks like where they may be going again.
I think you'll see the Olympians themselves may have to go back to a man-to-man to stop this three-point shooting spurge that's gotten started. 3 seconds! Wow. Boy. Broncos certainly close to a 3-second call there. No call, and they're going to draw a foul. That foul's going to go against 00. That's Julian Petway, known as JP. Another one of those big players that they can bring in. He's a 6'6" senior.
I have to agree with you, though, Rufus. I think time stood still when they were down there in the key. That was definitely 3 seconds.
They got the basket. Deshaun Freeman at the line to shoot the second. Made the first to draw him within 2. His second one short, but he comes up with the rebound. Gets it over to Donnell Beverly. Beverly still shooting. Beverly gets it to go. Ties it at 40 with 2:37 left in the third. The Olympians now showing man-to-man defense, just as I expected. This is an attempt to take away those three-point shots. Ooh. That foul goes against Russell Westbrook. Only the second team foul against the Olympians here in the second half. We've got 2:21 left in the third, fans, and we've got a tie ball game at 40. Russell Westbrook picks up his second team foul, possibly even his third. We can't see from here. I think that's going to be Russell's second personal.
Second personal, 13 foul. Whoa, that was close.
And then now Deshaun. Oh, Deshaun Freeman slam dunk. And that gets the crowd going. Leuzinger with their largest lead of the game at 42-40. That shot short. The Olympians try to get it. They turn it over. Ball still comes off. The Olympians come down with it. Russell Westbrook has it. He's running up the far sideline. Oh! The official calls a charging foul on Russell Westbrook. Boy, that's a tough one to accept. And the crowd erupts on that call, Mark.
And that's his third personal. And we still have the minute 42 left in the third quarter.
Wow. Boy, that was a huge, huge call against Westbrook. Veteran official Mark Obregon made the call, though. Frank Obregon, rather. Leuzinger couldn't get to the loose ball. J.D. Styles shoots it from the perimeter. So a 4-point swing for the Olympians here. Deshaun Freeman gets it underneath, follows his shot, gets it to go again, can't get it to drop though. So the crowd's gotten into it, Mark. The intensity has picked up, and boy, I think we're going to have an exciting 9 minutes and 6 seconds left.
We've all been tied 4 times already just in the third quarter.
Deshaun Freeman to shoot 2. This is the first. Leuzinger's done a very good job at the free throw line tonight. They've converted the vast majority of their opportunities.
John Styles was the one charged with that foul. That's his first and the team's 5th for the Broncos.
Leuzinger now enjoying a 1-point lead. Their largest lead was at 2 at 42-40. and now it's a 2-point game for the Olympians. As Ralph Horton comes to the floor and Deshaun Freeman goes off, gets back on the bicycle. Leuzinger showing full court pressure. That's a travel. That shot short. Rebound taken down by Donnell Beverly. Olympians looking to run, and good defensive effort by Dixon to knock it away. 48.5 seconds left in the third, 31 on the shot clock for the Olympians. Beverly's shot goes up and in. Leuzinger with his biggest lead of the game at 4, 46-42. Leuzinger appears to be marking a matchup zone with their man in the ball. And they get it inside. The Broncos do, and they score the basket. Couldn't quite see who that was amongst all the tall trees down there. With 9 seconds left, Olympians certainly need to protect the ball here. Westbrook shot from the side, up and in. 48-44, and that'll do it. As Coach Kurt Ruth gets in the face of one of his players, and boy, the Olympian crowd finally enjoying a little good cheer as they end the third quarter with the lead at 48-44 on Hawthorne Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22.
Back inside what they call the Lou House as we get ready for the fourth quarter.
Well, it was a big quarter for the Olympians. They actually outscored the Broncos by a margin of 23-14 to take that 4-point lead going into the fourth and final quarter, barring overtime.
And there have been three-pointers turned in by Vista Murrieta, but not as well as in the first half. They're 50% from the floor. We'd say, well, from three-point range, that's pretty good. Well, they were better than that in the first half. I think they only missed one three-pointer. So it's not quite falling for them, and it's hard to say it's luck, but you can kind of see the momentum beginning to move toward the Olympians.
Well, one of the things that I noticed, Mark, in terms of the Broncos hit 2 3-pointers there in the third period, and after that second one, Coach Reggie Morris immediately shifted to a man-to-man defense in order to guard against 3 points, because, boy, they were skip passing all over his zone and finding the open man on the 3-point perimeter, and they were knocking the shot down. So a good in-game adjustment there by head coach Reggie Morris of the Leuzinger Olympians.
It's an interesting thing because the zone inside for the three-point shot really seems to foul up the Broncos, but when Leuzinger goes to a man-to-man, it all changes.
Leuzinger back in the zone right now to start the fourth quarter. The Broncos passing the ball around, looking for the shot. They get it to J.D. Skiles. Now they skip it over to the far corner. Now it's underneath. Reverse layup, put up, doesn't go. The Olympians come down with it. Russell Westbrook has it. Let me remind you that he has 3 fouls. Reverse layup, put up and in by Gary Corker. And that's the Olympians' biggest lead of the game at 50-44. And Mark, we could be seeing the beginning of the separation between this wild card team and this number 4 seed Leuzinger Olympians.
It may well be. And the last thing I wondered about too is, remember in the first half, all the substitutions by Vista. They're not doing it, and it's wondering if some of the players are getting tired.
Excellent inside look to find J.D. Styles. Great pass that time. It's hard for the Olympians to defend that. The question now is, can Russell Westbrook get untracked and carry the Olympians the rest of the way? Westbrook's shot doesn't go. Rebound comes off. Controlled by Dixon of Murrieta. Skip pass across the court. Westbrook there to defend, takes away the 3 opportunity. Turnover. Olympians have it. They're looking to run. Numbers are even. Beverly pulls up. Can't get it to go. Maybe should have waited for help. A score of 50-46. Just a little over 6 minutes left in the contest. Once again, they get it underneath. They get it inside to J.D. Styles. Styles can't hit. Wow, and Styles is going to pick up the inadvertent foul. I understand J.D.'s feeling. It was more just a reflex action of his body, but the official had to call it. And now 2 substitutes come on as going off for is Kadir for Murrieta. Broncos is Kadir and Adrian Dixon. Westbrook has got to rotate toward the ball to look for it. Now he does. Now he gets inside, gets a one-handed shot up, can't get it to go. I think Russell's got to attack more to the basket than he is. That was an attack, but that was part way. Olympians come down with it again, forcing numerous turnovers. Westbrook with the ball, slows it up, looking for somebody to pass it to. Finally finds Ralph Horton, who gets it over to Donnell Beverly. Beverly gets it underneath for Horton for the layup. Back to a 6-point lead, the largest for the Olympians. Mark, what's this Bronco team going to have to do if they want to hang around here?
Some of that, and it didn't go.
But they control the board, get the offensive rebound, a second chance. This time they get it inside to Styles. And boy, Styles has been unstoppable underneath.
Other than Styles, they're probably going to live and die by the three-pointer.
Well, with 4:48 left, our score here at Lou House in this first round CIF Division I AA game is the Leuzinger 52. The Broncos of Vista Murrieta out of the Southwestern League 48. Your thoughts, Mark?
It'll be interesting now to see what Coach Kurt Ruth from Vista Murrieta does. He substituted a lot in the early going. He's starting to get back to that. The three-pointer worked early in the game. The man-to-man defense worked, but he's not having quite the success with the three-pointer before. And when he tries to do the muscle game, other than Styles, when it comes up against Westbrook and the other Olympians, that's not a contest.
What do you think the Olympians, because Styles has started to assert himself inside, you know, they started defending the three-point line, and I'll give the Broncos credit. They made the adjustment. Okay, if you're going to take that away, then we're going to go to our big gun Styles inside. Now, do the Olympians try to shut down Styles and open up the three-pointer?
I do give Kurt Ruth credit. He is changing everything constantly. So it's not like they're backed into a corner and they're trying one thing and it doesn't work. If he sees something that isn't working, he's changing it.
Well, he's done a very good job with his...
Also, I've noticed for Leuzinger, we'll have the numbers later perhaps if time permits, but the free throw, the field goal percentage seems to be going up for Leuzinger as well. Shots are dropping now that didn't in the first half.
And now Murrieta showing three-quarter court defense. Ball's in the hands of Russell Westbrook, gets it back over to Donnell Beverly. They're sure-handed lead guard. There it is, Westbrook from the side. Westbrook can't get it to go. And we're going to get a foul call against the Olympians. Look like they're going to call that on Corker. It'll be ball out of bounds, as that'll be, I believe, the 15th foul. Deshaun.
That's Corker's third personal.
Well, we're down in money time now. We're at the 4:24 mark.
They got Deshaun Freeman in the middle.
Whoa! Interesting call there. Goes against the Olympians. 20 seconds left on the shot clock for the Broncos. It'll be their ball to inbound underneath their basket.
could be make or break time right here for Vista.
Near steal, ball's loose, and a timeout called by the Broncos on the loose ball. They didn't want to lose the possession, so they called a timeout to save the possession. That gives us an opportunity, fans, to tell you that we have 3:59 left in the contest. Leuzinger leading by 4 at 52-48. And somewhere there late in the third, when they finally asserted themselves, they took a lead at 42-40. And thus far, they have held that. They've made that lead hold up.
Now, if things continue this way for Leuzinger, you can tell them about their next opponent.
Well, why don't you tell them, Mark? You've got the board. I can't read too good right now.
Well, as this game is underway, Santa Ana Valley out of the Orange League is taking on San Clemente. They were the wild card winner on Wednesday night, and the winner of that game will square off against the winner of this. The home game, as to which team would be a home game from what you were telling me earlier, Rufus, that'll be a coin toss at a time to be determined later. So it's possible that Leuzinger could be home at the next round, or they could be getting a free trip to Orange County.
Somewhere in Orange County. But the task at hand is to get out of this one against a very game and talented and impressive team here. That's going to be an out of bounds. Whoa, 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 whoa. If it was thrown out of bounds, or they're saying it was touched by the Olympians. Don Fleming, a veteran official out of the Long Beach unit, along with Frank Oberrun. There's a turnover. Beverly's running. Wow. Olympia's trying to do a little too much, and they waste the opportunity. Lucky enough to get it back, though. Coach Reggie Morris says to Donnell Beverly, "What are you doing?" Donnell tried to toss it off the backboard for the pretty play. Wow, can't get that one to go.
Be interesting to see if that alley-oop shot comes to haunt him.
Boy, a wasted opportunity there by the Olympians. Three-pointer put up and in by number 33, Riley Fletcher.
That's a 5-point swing right there.
Absolutely is, and now it's a 1-point game. Beverly's shot put up doesn't go. The Olympians underneath keep it alive, and they'll get a fresh 35.
Olympians retain possession, and they're lucky. We all like the big slam dunk, but not when the game's on the line.
Exactly.
That was a bad choice. Vista Murrieta would love to have a turnover now.
That would put a lot of pressure on the Olympians. They need a basket here. That shot put up from the inside doesn't go. Follow put up and in by Corker. Gary Corker playing the game of his life. Doesn't go, but it's going to send number 21 to the line. That's Carlos Palmerin. Palmerin, a 6', 200-pound junior. Palmerin to shoot two. The Leuzinger crowd will try to distract him to no avail as he makes the first. Second free throw up and good. Token pressure being shown by the Broncos. Beverly gets inside, gets underneath. Layup put up and in by Corker. 2:15 left in the contest. Olympians lead 56-53. Crowd exhorting the Olympians to play defense. Boy, they've got to guard that three-point line. And they get a break there. Westbrook in the open floor. He's bumped on the drive to the basket. The foul occurred on the ground. That's the 17th foul against the Broncos. And that's going to send Westbrook to the line to shoot the front end of a 1-1.
I believe we have now arrived at showtime.
We certainly have. Everything's big from here on in. Westbrook gets the first to go as the crowd takes a collective sigh of relief. And now we're going to have a full timeout. A full timeout taken by the Leuzinger Olympians with 57, our score of 57-53. When we come back, Russell Westbrook will be going to the line, Mark, to shoot the second.
It's funny, just a moment ago it was so close, and now I guess time has flown by so quickly it's hard to imagine how
Well,
this
exactly right. It was 52-51. Actually, it was 52-46. The Olympians had the opportunity to extend their lead. They got a little fancy. Donnell Beverly tried an alley-oop play on what should have been a simple 2-on-1 fast break and scored a basket.
and that's
Murrieta converted that opportunity.
and with a three-pointer, and that's just inside 4 minutes left in the game. That's not the time to try that stuff, but fortunately it didn't hurt them too much. They've come back with two buckets since then to keep it close. Minute 57 left.
Well,
And if this goes in,
makes it
they'll
a
have a
two-possession
5-point
game.
advantage.
So, as we come out of the timeout, Russell Westbrook at the line to shoot two. On the floor for the Olympians, Gary Corker, Donnell Beverly, Russell Westbrook at the line, Ralph Horton. Westbrook can't get the second to go, along with Deshaun Freeman. So it's a 4-point game.
By my count, 6 points has been the biggest lead of the night.
For the Olympians, it has been. Styles operates baseline. And Styles was pushed out of bounds, and he's going to go to the line to shoot 1-1.
This
J.D.
is huge.
Styles, a pretty good free throw shooter on the season. Makes the first.
61%. 61% for the year. 77 of 126.
Styles makes a pair to make it a 2-point game at 57-55. Every possession critical now for the Olympians. Ball in Westbrook's hand. Westbrook loses it, but it goes to Gary Corker. Westbrook looking to get underneath. Blocking foul called against number 23. And that, of course, is Riley Fletcher. Riley Fletcher's hit a couple of big three-pointers. And Westbrook again going to the line to shoot 1-1. Wow, big free throw there. Big free throw there for Russell Westbrook.
And free throws were not part of this game in the first half at all.
And Westbrook converts a pair to give him a 4-point lead at 59-55 with 1:19 left, fans. This one is going down to the wire. The Olympians clearly will be guarding the three-point line now. They're going to have to leave Deshaun Freeman. Is going to have to take J.D. Styles one-on-one. Wow. I'm not sure what it's going to take for them to learn that they cannot do that. Wow. Wow. Call goes against the Olympians. A huge call against the Olympians. As that one goes against Deshaun Freeman. There are 35.9 seconds left on the clock. The Olympians nursing a 1-point lead at 59-58. And now Coach Reggie Morris calls for the timeout. Boy, that was a strange sequence right there.
Another alley-oop, Rufus, and that's not the time to get cute.
Wow. So, for this number 4 seed Olympian team playing at home against a Bronco team that's only in their second year of varsity play. Their second year, brand new school, second varsity team.
These seniors are the first seniors ever for this school.
Well, win, lose, or draw, they've made a heck of an impression.
They sure
on
have.
this reporter tonight.
And that's, for being a young school, of their 12-man roster, they don't have any sophomores. 8 seniors on this squad from Murrieta and 4 juniors, and who knows what they're growing on the junior varsity team.
Leuzinger now needing to come up with the defensive stop. I can tell you, every Olympian fan here, boy, their heart's in their throat as we've got 35.9 seconds. Let's see what defense the Olympians
And the question now is, the 3-pointers work for Vista. Do they go there, or do they want a 2-point bucket and a foul shot?
Well, I think the Olympians are going to go man. The crowd calling for defense, putting the pressure on Murrieta. And Murrieta now takes a timeout with 26 seconds left on the game clock and the shot clock. Only a 1/6 of a second difference between the game and shot clock.
I believe that timeout was called by Vista Murrieta.
That timeout was called by Murrieta. The indication from the official is that it's a 30-second timeout.
They got a little thrown by the clock here. They keep the amount of time of the timeout in the same place the game clock is.
Right.
And I'm trying to get a reading on how much time we've got left in the game. A little over 29 seconds.
Well, it was supposed to have been a 30-second.
It was supposed to be a 30-second timeout.
I guess they converted
now they're
it
taking
to
a full. So forget everything I just told you. Actually, the shot clock and the game clock are synced up. There's 26 seconds left.
Yeah. The crowd being exhorted to get up on their feet. They were inbound right in front of our position here. Inbounded into the backcourt. Wow, nearly stolen by the Olympians. We couldn't see from me. I know that was Donnell Beverly.
Did what he could to get a steal.
Right.
19 seconds left.
Ralph Horton out on him. There he is, kick the ball. No call there. Excellent defense by the Olympians. Boy, they're going to be forced to put up a shot soon. Wow. 7.8 seconds left. 1-point ball game. Boy. Mark. Woo! Hold me, partner.
That's a good one there. I was wondering if Vista was going to wait for the final shot or try to get ahead and then defend, but.
Well, Vista has the whole shot clock left. There's 7 seconds on the shot, and they're about 7 on the game clock as well. There's only a couple of tenths of a second difference.
So they're discussing what they want to do now. They've got really some options. There are 18 fouls against Leuzinger, so there's always a chance of a 1+1. Of course, shooting foul, you know what happens there. And they could just turn the lights out in this place with a 3-pointer, even if somehow there's enough time for Leuzinger to come back.
Right. Well, I'm sure Leuzinger has set up their next play in case there's a score.
I think it would be safe to say if Vista can score here, this will send a shockwave through the Southern Section Division I AA playoffs. Nobody expected this.
Nobody. Dorrell Wright trying to exhort the crowd to step up. There it is. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, that's the game. No, the Olympians win. The Olympians win 59-58. Boy, on a defensive stop at the end. The Olympians win, fans. I know it's hard to hear. What a game. Boy, give a huge shout out to Coach Kurt Roof's team.
The first thing I noticed when I walked into the building tonight was how slippery the floor is. And Andy Hall slipped, and that was what did it for Vista.
We'll see if we have a replay opportunity on that last play to see the Leuzinger defense and to see just what you called, Mark. Andy Hall slipping, the ball hangs loose just long enough, gets away from him. They get up a shot, it's after the whistle or after the horn goes off. Game over, our final. Leuzinger 59. The Broncos, the very game Broncos of Vista Murrieta out of the Southwestern League, 58.
It's going to be a long bus ride back to the Inland Empire, but that coach ought to be really proud of those kids because they played the number 4 seed in this division and gave them all they could ask for. And except for some wax on the floor, we need to find the janitor and kiss him.
Right.
But even after he slipped, after Andy Hall slipped, he tried to pass off to Carlos Palmerin for the final shot, but it just didn't go.
It was a game of 2 halves. In the first half, the Broncos dominated. They went into the locker room with the lead at 30-25, and in the second half, the Olympians put up 35 points to the Broncos 28, and they get out of here with a 1-point win in this first round. We know that their next game will be on Tuesday night. We can look at the setting here at our camera point. A great game. Mark, again, your thoughts.
Well, I think one thing that also, as far as what comes next that's important, is I was just checking the numbers, and if I did my math right, in that second half, Leuzinger had an opportunity to go to the free throw line, and they sank 80% of their free throws. 8 out of 10. That's huge.
Guys, the message there is that it always comes down to the fundamentals. And you're right, in that fourth quarter, they went to the line a number of times. They were able to convert those opportunities. Right now, we don't know who their next game is against. Here's what we do know. Their next game is against either Valley of Santa Ana or San Clemente, who are playing tonight. We also don't know where that game will be because that will go to a coin toss. So, boy, again, one of the most exciting first-round games you'll see. And as you said before, a tip of the hat, really and truly, to Coach, to the Vista Murrieta, to Coach Kurt Roof's Vista Murrieta team to come in here on the road and play this number 4 seed. And they were a wild card team the way they did.
And Coach Reggie Morris for Leuzinger will have the easiest pregame talk next week for the second round with, gentlemen, do I have your attention? Don't take anybody for granted.
Absolutely. And one other thing of interest, I've got to give a huge assist to Dorrell Wright, who's out of our camera view. Dorrell Wright, as I mentioned, played here before. In those last 35 seconds, Dorrell, who's a professional, plays for the Miami Heat, but this is his old high school. He was here running up and down the sidelines, telling the fans to stand up and yell defense. And it was the Leuzinger had to play 35 seconds of defense or lose the game potentially.
And all the people behind us became part of that noise, and it did make a difference, a big one.
They made a huge difference, and as you said, so give Dorrell Wright an assist, give the janitor an assist for the slippery floor, give the Leuzinger defense a huge kudos. And a couple of guys we want to mention for their effort. I know you have some. Deshaun Freeman, who was on and off the court with his injury. He played big. Gary Corker, who had to step up for Duke Moore, who was out. due to academic problems, and we know that Duke will get that straightened out and come back to play next year.
A couple of key buckets by Ralph Horton, too.
Ralph Horton played big.
Along the
Ralph
baseline.
Played perhaps his best game of the year. Christian Stribling was huge. All of the Olympians played big, but boy, I tell you, it really came down to one, the crowd here and their defense. And so collectively as a team, their defensive whole, that was one of the best defensive sequences that I've ever seen, fans, because it was a sequence where it was simply do or die.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things as we progress from here. Remember, this was a wild card entry into the playoffs. From this point forward, every step you take is going to get tougher, and you better come to play some defense.
Well, fans, for the entire crew here at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, and of course what we did, we had a split crew tonight because we've tried to bring you fans everything. Our other crew is over at Hawthorne covering the Hawthorne first round game, and of course we were here to cover the Leuzinger game so that the Hawthorne-Lawndale fans get to see it all. We admonish you always, go down City Hall, Hawthorne and Lawndale, let them know how much you enjoy these broadcasts so we can count on seeing them again. That's my plug for that, but I also want to just say, Mark, it's been a fantastic pleasure working with you. I hope we get the opportunity again. We had a hand side behind our back just a little bit with some of the technical stuff, but we got through it, and the Olympians got through it.
Well, maybe we'll see each other in the next round, but you'll see the next round, that's for sure, as everybody moves on down the road in the CIF playoffs.
The next round game, fans, is Tuesday night, and as I said, check your local newspaper for who it'll be against and where it'll be. But no matter who it's against, no matter where it is, as my partner Mark Helmer said, one thing you can count on is that Hawthorne-Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 will be there. So one last time, our final in this first round CIF 1 AA contest, the Leuzinger Olympians at home hold serve as they defeat a very game, a very talented Vista Murrieta team by a final score of 59-58. For Mark Helmer, Eric Chavez, and the rest of our camera crew, I'm Rufus Washington saying thank you for letting me ride along with you on what was one exciting game. Fans, good night, and we'll see you Tuesday. Baby, we have one. That's right, baby. They gave us the hard stuff to work with. What's happening over at Hawthorne?
Okay. The preceding presentation of this Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week was brought to you in part by a generous donation from the Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites, South Bay. The Holiday Inn Express is partnering with Channel 22 Sports to help promote our young people in sports competition and academics so that everyone in our community wins. The Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites. Stay smart. The preceding presentation of this Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week was brought to you in part by a generous donation from the South Bay Workforce Investment Board. The South Bay Workforce Investment Board is working together with Channel 22 Sports to promote an environment where everyone can maximize their career potential and so that all employers have the human resources they need to grow and prosper. The South Bay Workforce Investment Board. When you need us, we are there for you. The preceding presentation of the Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week is brought to you in part by a generous donation from Ralph's Food for Less, the nation's premier price impact supermarket chain. Food for Less is proud to be working with the community to enhance the lives of everyone by providing a diverse selection of products and customer service and by reaching out to support the communities in which we serve.